Everybody's here?
Yeah, we're ready, Beth.
Okay, thanks so much. Sorry again for that delay. So please rise for a short prayer and a salute to our flag. Almighty God, grant us the wisdom to make those decisions that are in the best interest of all of our residents. May the Heavenly Father of us all bless those who have given the ultimate sacrifice in service to our nation, and may He watch over and protect our servicemen and women now guarding the gates of freedom. And a salute to our flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everybody. Can I have a statement of publication, please, Jess?
Take notice that this regular meeting of the mayor and council being held on this 23rd day of November 2020 has been advertised and posted in accordance with Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, Public Law 1975.
Roll call, please.
Councilpersons Conti,
Here.
Delina,
Here.
Enriquez,
Present.
Marr,
Here.
Novak, Roberts. And our professionals, the mayor,
Here.
business administrator, are you there, Dan? You have to unmute Dan. All right, I'm going to skip him. I see him. The CFO. Here.
That take care of everyone?
I'm here, Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Dupont. Jess, did we have anybody else to call upon? What about,
I see Dan on, so.
okay, and did we already called our engineer, Jay Cornell?
I'm here.
I see
I'm here too.
Yep.
Okay, perfect then. So I can see Dan is here as well. I just see that he might not be able to unmute, so we'll call upon him again as needed. Thank you very much, Jess. At this point, then we're going to move on to the approval of prior minutes. Council President Novak is not here, and I can see Councilwoman Marr clearly. Councilwoman Marr, would you mind reading the approval of the prior minutes?
Sure. I motion to approve prior minutes to the mayor and council, November 9th special meeting and closed session, and regular and agenda sessions.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
All right. And roll call, please, Jess.
Councilpersons Marr,
Yes.
Conti,
Yes.
Delina,
Yes.
Enriquez,
Yes.
Roberts.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much, Jess. We do have a proclamation for this evening prior to our COVID-19 update. So I'll take a few seconds here to read our proclamation, which in lieu of some events that have happened here within Sayreville, I thought that this was a very important proclamation to actually read. So it states that whereas recognizing road traffic deaths claim more than 1.35 million people worldwide annually, and the United Nations has designated the second Sunday in November as World Remembrance Day for road traffic victims. And whereas the purpose of this day is to remember all people killed and seriously injured on the roads, acknowledge the crucial work of the emergency services, advocate for better support for road traffic victims and victims' families, promote actions to prevent and eventually stop further road traffic deaths and injuries. And whereas in 2019, according to state police records, there were 529 road traffic fatalities, including drivers, passengers, bicyclists, pedestrians, ages 17 to 80 plus. And whereas through November 9, 2020, there have been 487 fatalities in New Jersey, including 58 in Middlesex County. And whereas the cause of these deaths include accidents at intersections, unsafe speeds, distracted driving, driving under the influence of alcohol, and driver inexperience. Whereas improvements to road design and infrastructure combined with effective laws, policies, education, and funding improve the safety of all road users. And now, therefore, I, Victoria Kilpatrick, Mayor of the Borough of Sayreville, joins with the United Nations in designating November 16, 2020 as World Remembrance Day for road traffic victims, in recognizing roadway fatalities are not inevitable, and in promoting actions and policies to improve road safety. So thank you for that. And at this point, we'll move on now to our COVID-19 update.
Vic, we just need a motion to accept that proclamation.
My apologies. Can I have a motion to accept that proclamation?
Make a motion to accept the proclamation.
Is there a second?
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
All right. Thank you, Jess. Now at this point, we'll move on to our COVID-19 update, which is not necessarily lengthy, but very important. Just this past week, we had our Middlesex County update on the COVID-19 pandemic. As we're well aware, we are now in New Jersey, definitely within this second wave of the pandemic. Numbers continue to surge up within the state, within the nation, and especially within Middlesex County. For those of you that are following the different regional zones and exactly what our status is, Middlesex County is currently in the orange zone, which in the event we move into the red zone would require additional measures taken by the borough and also by the school districts. Now, I'm just going to pull up very quickly to give everybody an update on where we are with our numbers here locally. We have not received today's numbers yet. However, within the last several days, we have seen, just based on Friday alone, 17 positive cases, 20 cases on Saturday, and yesterday we had an additional 10 cases. Like the rest of the state, we are trending higher and higher with double-digit numbers at a time where only a matter of a month ago, we were seeing at points zeros, ones, and twos. This is troubling. Our total number of overall cases within the borough, and again, I'm not looking to just spout numbers here, but I think it's important that we're all aware of where we are as a borough. We have a total of 1,317 cases from the start of the pandemic till now. One of the things that I found troubling on our Middlesex County update, again, this was last week, so the numbers are even higher. Between the dates of November 1st through November 18th within the county, those dates represented almost 16% of the current total numbers in the county so far since the start. We're moving into an alarming trend again, and we need to help stop, slow, and once again break the back of the spread of this virus. And we can do that through very simple measures, which we have been asked by the Department of Health and the county to continue to reiterate. Wash your hands, wear a mask. Please make sure that you try to stay socially distanced as much as possible, because we know that these measures will help reduce the spread. We all, I think, started to get a little bit of what they call COVID or this pandemic fatigue. And I think we all let our guards down, including myself. There's only so long that you continue to stay vigilant before you literally start to say, I want out, I've had enough. But now more than ever, if we did let down our guard, we have to bring it back, because the people that are being impacted, and again, this is through the county, through their tracking and through their numbers, what we're seeing is younger people now becoming infected, individuals that typically are not seeing serious signs of the virus or having serious complications. But those individuals, what they fear in the coming weeks, especially after Thanksgiving, that those younger individuals are going to pass that on to our more vulnerable population, which is what we had started to see happen in the spring that resulted in that nationwide, well, at least the statewide closure. The other thing that was also concerning, and why I think we really all need to step up and actually be, again, very vigilant, is that we're starting to see an alarming trend in our first responders contracting this virus. And that stuck with me. Our first responders, our police, our fire, our EMS, our nurses, our doctors are now becoming infected with this virus at a higher level than what they've seen before. So I ask you to keep that in mind when we go over the governor's orders, which are asking at this holiday time, as much as we want to be with our families, please restrict that to no more than 10 people at your table physically. And let's get creative with what that means. Thanksgiving, yes, I know we want to believe that it's all about the turkey and stuffing, but sometimes it's not really about the food. You can still have a Thanksgiving dinner, but you can have, you know, grandma, grandpa, aunts and uncles at your table virtually. Set up a Chromebook and have them there so that you can talk and have those conversations. Ask your kids, because they're fabulous with technology, how to turn around and use your cell phone to either do a FaceTime or do a duo call, because we can still be together. We just have to reinvent what together means. One of the other things that the county has asked all municipalities to remind individuals is how important it is to please, please, please get your flu vaccines now. Also, one of the other alarming issues that they have found, and they've asked us to pass along to all of our community members, for those individuals going into the hospital or going for medical services, medical procedures, you have to get a COVID test prior to those procedures. But once you get that COVID test and it comes back negative, they're asking that you remember that doesn't mean to go about your daily business. Please try and quarantine until your date of your procedure. So if you get your COVID test a couple of days before your procedure, they're asking you to be extremely safe because they don't want you to contract that virus in between that time. And that's really for your safety as well. Last but not least, I'll add this final piece, a reminder to our small business owners out there that there is a total of $30 million that has been set aside in order to assist small businesses within the county. Currently, there are approximately only 1,000 applications to receive some of that $30 million here within Middlesex County. They've currently paid out $7 million, but we're asking all small business owners out there, if you don't think that you can get this application or this grant money, put in for that anyway and just see, because so many of us know that we want to keep our small businesses open. We want you to have the resources and the money to do so. So please put in those applications to see if you would qualify for those small business loans. Again, only $7 million of the $30 million have actually been paid out. That takes care of my COVID-19 update for right now. We'll revisit that a little bit later in the meeting. Jess, we'll move on to new business then.
I would just like to report that I have received a supplemental debt statement as of November 23rd, 2020. Need a motion to accept?
Motion to accept?
Second.
Okay, can I have a roll call? You need a roll call for that, Jess, or can we just do a
Yes.
Okay, roll call, please.
Councilpersons Delina,
Yes.
Conti,
Yes.
Enriquez,
Yes.
Marr,
Yes.
Roberts.
Okay,
Okay.
before we go on to new business, let me just double check. Mr. Dupont, do we have any, we don't have anything for executive session today, correct?
No.
Okay, thank you very much. Then we'll move on to new business, introduction of our ordinances, Jess.
Ordinance number 510-20, bond ordinance providing for the acquisition of vehicles and equipment in, by, and for the borough of Saraville, New Jersey, appropriating $1,252,000, therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $1,192,000 bonds or notes of the borough for financing part of such appropriation.
I'll open the public for, and this is just introduction, never mind, I apologize. We'll go to admin and finance, Councilwoman Roberts, please.
I move the ordinance be approved on first reading, advertised according to law, and a public hearing be held on December 14th.
Can I have a second, please?
Second.
Roll call?
Councilpersons Roberts,
Yes.
Conti,
Yes.
Delina,
Yes.
Enriquez,
Yes.
Mar.
Yes.
Okay, introduction ordinance number 511-20, an ordinance amending chapter 35, affordable housing, subsection 35-23, affordable housing mandatory set aside of the revised general ordinances of the Borough of Saraville.
We'll go to planning and zoning. Councilman Delina, please.
Thank you, Mayor. I move the ordinance be approved on first reading, advertised according to law, and a public meeting to be held on December 14th, 2020.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilpersons Delina,
Yes.
Conti,
Yes.
Enriquez,
Yes.
Mar,
Yes.
Roberts.
Yes.
Ordinance number 512-20, an ordinance amending chapter 7, traffic of the revised general ordinances of the Borough of Saraville.
Okay, we'll move now to public safety. That's Councilman Conti, please.
Thank you, Mayor. I move the ordinance be approved on first reading, advertised according to law, and a public hearing to be held on December 14th, 2020.
Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilpersons Conti,
Yes.
Delina,
Yes.
Enriquez,
Yes.
Mar,
Yes.
Roberts.
Yes.
Okay, and next that will bring us to, is that our final? No, we have one more, right, Jess?
Two more.
Two more, sorry, go ahead.
Ordinance number 513-20, an ordinance amending chapter 14, water and sewer of the revised general ordinances of the Borough of Saraville.
That's Water and Sewer Committee. Councilwoman Mar, please.
I move the ordinance be approved on first reading, advertised according to law, and a public hearing to be held on, I missed the date, what was it, December?
December 14th.
December 14th.
Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilpersons Mar,
Yes.
Conti,
Yes.
Delina,
Yes.
Enriquez,
Yes.
Roberts.
Yes.
Okay, ordinance number 514-20, bond ordinance providing for the acquisition of water utility vehicles and equipment in the Borough of Saraville, New Jersey, appropriating $300,000 therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $300,000 bonds or notes of the borough for financing part of such appropriation.
Administration and Finance again. Councilwoman Roberts, please.
I move the ordinance be approved on first reading, advertised according to law, and a public meeting to be held on December 14th.
Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilpersons Roberts,
Yes.
Conti,
Yes.
Delina,
Yes.
Enriquez,
Yes.
Mar.
Yes.
All right, thank you very much. We'll move on to consent agenda resolutions. At this time, I will open to the public for any questions regarding consent agenda resolution items only. If you wish to speak, please press *9. And seeing no hands raised, I will entertain a motion.
Make a motion to accept the consent agenda items.
Second.
Is there a second? I'm sorry, was that Damon?
Yep.
Thank you, Damon. Roll call, please.
Councilpersons Delina,
Yes.
Conti,
Yes.
Enriquez,
Yes.
Mar,
Yes.
Roberts.
Yes.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, then we will move on to the Borough Attorney's report. Mike, is there anything we need to discuss at this meeting?
No report, Mayor.
Thank you very much. At this time, then, I will open to the public for any and all statements for the good of the cause here in Saraville. If you wish to speak at this time on any and all items, please press star not. There we go. I have my first hand raised, and this is the last four digits of this phone number. This caller is 6656. The person calling in from 6656, please state your name and address for the record.
Were you looking for 6656?
That's correct.
Okay, I'm sorry, my phone was making lots of noises. This is Dawn O'Hara. I'm 24 Avon Way, Parlin section.
Hi, Ms. O'Hara. You're in the public portion. You can state your comments at this time.
I'm just, I guess, curious, as you spoke earlier about the rising COVID cases, I do check the borough website every day, and it is really concerning because I remember, not that long ago, we were in the 700s and we seemed to have stayed there for a while. And now with the holidays approaching and the school buildings open, I'm just curious of, the council's thoughts on how are we going to control this virus with family gatherings, buildings open. I'm scared for my students, I'm scared for myself, I'm scared for the community and the small businesses as I hear more and more about other places closing. And I don't know, I just guess I was interested in the opinions of what the town's gonna do to keep our numbers from going up even more through Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Thank you.
Concern.
Thank you, Ms. O'Hara. I appreciate those statements. I actually have multiple times now at this council meetings, I've given my opinion about a couple of things you've mentioned. We do have a very large concern right now, and I thank you for checking out our borough page for our numbers, because you're right, they have been going up substantially, especially within the past month and a half. I was going to save my comments in reference to a couple of things that we can do, one of which addressing the public schools. But I will hold off on those just for a few seconds to see if anybody else from the council would like to speak. If not, I will read my statements in reference to a couple of things we need to do, I think, in this town. Did anyone else from the council wish to speak?
I would, Mayor. This is Councilwoman Marr. I think we've just all really have lowered our guard, and we have to. It's time to raise it back up to where we were in March, and taking those proper precautions and really wearing our mask as often as we can. I truly think that the mask is going to be one of the most helpful variables, but also limiting where we go and what we do again. And I just, we've dropped our guard a little, and it's time to go back to the way that we were in March.
Thanks, Councilwoman Marr. Anybody else wish to comment?
Yeah, and I agree. This Councilman Conti with Councilwoman Marr that, letting our guard down unintentionally, intentionally, whatever it may be, we take things for granted that things are going well. And I think we just need to get back to the basics and be more diligent about it. Wearing those masks all the time where it's needed. And don't take it for granted that, oh, I'm with people that I know, so everything's okay. Unfortunately, that's not the case. People don't know that they have the virus, but they may not feel it. And that's how it spreads. So I think we just need to be diligent about it until we can ride this out, and wear those masks, wash those hands, stay away from large gatherings, etc. Just don't take anything for granted, and then we could do this together.
Thanks, Councilman Conti. Anybody else wish to address? I do see another hand raise. So before I go into our next attend, I'll call in the next participant in a few seconds. I think that Ms. O'Hara is looking for a little bit more specific address. I will, I'm going to let the next person speak, and then I'll give my statements. Thank you, Ms. O'Hara. You can stay on the phone. you don't, we'll just put you back into the attendees section, so you won't be able to speak at this point unless you hand raise again. The next caller is it looks like the last name is Stokes. So please just state your name and your address for the record, and then you're in the public session.
Hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Tynesa Stokes. My address is 1058 Bordentown Avenue. My comment, I guess, would be that, as you mentioned, as far as the numbers and the rise in the cases of COVID, they have been increasing steadily. I've been watching the state page, the borough page, the Sayreville Public Schools page, and it is concerning to me, especially in your statement that you mentioned that now we're beginning to see an increase in the numbers with younger people. I do believe that there may be a correlation to the fact that now we're having more children attend schools and such. But I think part of my is concerning in relationship to that. But part of my question, I guess, is to ask, like, what role does the mayor's office play into kind of helping to curb some of this? Like, what decisions can be made to kind of ease that, outside of what personally people can do to, wear your mask, socially distance, wash your hands. But like, what are some other things that can possibly do? Because it's frustrating, it's concerning that, these cases are rising, these numbers are rising, and especially with the younger people who may be asymptomatic, and then taking it to mom and dad and grandpa and auntie, and I'm just concerned because I have my daughter who's in school, and I'm honestly afraid to send her because she may get it and be asymptomatic and then bring it home to everyone else. So I just want to point that out.
Thank you, Ms. Stokes. So at this point, since you asked me directly, I'm going to read my remarks that I had prepared for today at this point before moving on with our public's portion. And just bear with me, because this has been something that I have been dealing with, and I've been very vocal about for a long time. The mayor's office and the council, we have done a lot within the community. One of the things I'm most proud of is the response that we've had for our employees here. Keeping our buildings closed, while it may be inconvenient for some individuals wanting to try and take care of things in person, we have closed the doors to our borough buildings to the public. And I felt that it was in the best, and it was out of safety and concern for our residents and for our employees. And that remains closed. That also includes our senior center. One of the things that our public library has done, and I'm proud of them for taking the step, they've done a tremendous job through this, but they're also shuttering their doors starting on Saturday for in-person services, and they will move to remote services for the library. We have done our absolute best working with our police department, making sure that our businesses, for the most part, are following the executive orders that have been put in place, including the most recent, which is limiting those indoor dining and so forth to that 25%, making sure there's barriers and individuals not gathering at bars, and making sure that if you can't reach that 6-foot distance, that you have barriers put up in place. We have been diligent, and I'm proud of this council for stepping up and doing that. However, there are certain things that are not within our control, but there are certain things that I feel are important to put on the record. So please bear with me once again, council and those on the line. So once again, I feel it is important to put on record my opinion as the mayor in regards specifically to two things that the current that the callers brought up, and that has to do with our public school system. With our COVID-19 numbers rising within the state, county, and our town, I am now at the point where I am going to call specifically and put in a plea to our Board of Education and to our superintendent. I implore at this point, I am imploring you, I am begging you, I'm pleading with you as Board of Education members to return to the remote learning for our students and staff on behalf of our community, like so many districts around us have already done. And I spent the morning yesterday actually looking at the 25 towns that exist within Middlesex County where we are getting hammered with positive cases. The majority of those districts have closed, and I actually have them by count. I have them broken down by number of enrollment. And literally just before we got on to our meeting today, we had additional schools outside of Middlesex County, including Toms River now that has closed to all remote. Jamesburg, which was, I believe, in sort of this hybrid kind of model, they have closed their doors. And I know Highland Park had officially today also moved to remote learning. Like, as I was saying, as of this evening, the majority of districts in Middlesex County have already moved to remote learning for the safety of their students, staff, and community. As a parent of 2 children in the middle school, as an educator for nearly 20 years, I understand and I believe that in-person learning is by far the best and most ideal environment to learn. During this second wave of this pandemic, the educational environment that we are used to no longer exists. For weeks, I have fielded calls from teachers, staff members, and other individuals that work within the school district who have been denied remote accommodations despite serious health issues, including strokes and heart disease. And most recently, this past week, I have had countless teachers who are currently pregnant and high risk that have been denied remote accommodations. All of these individuals, including their family members, I've had husbands weeping on the phone. I've had grandparents calling me, all pleading with me as the mayor to help them and keep them safe. And it breaks my heart when I tell them that as the mayor, I have no authority to make decisions regarding the closure of our schools. I have reached out to the Board of Education president. I've had conversations with him. I have attempted to have conversations with our superintendent and other Board of Education members, imploring them. I know that so many of our staff members have written probably hundreds of letters at this point, trying to explain their circumstances. Once again, these are individuals that are being denied remote accommodations for major health issues. This morning, when many of you woke up at about 5:30 in the morning, if you read Dr. Labby's Talk Soup, several paragraphs into it, you would have learned of another positive case in Arlett School. My phone and my emails have been flooded with calls since 6 o'clock in the morning from concerned parents, many parents, teachers, staff members, and others, some with tears, unable to speak out of fear of exposure for themselves and their family members just days before Thanksgiving. This was this morning. This afternoon, I learned of another positive case that came out of our transportation department in the public schools. And both of these cases came on the heels of the positive cases out of the middle school just last week. Parents are scared. They're worried as they get ready to put a Thanksgiving bird on their table and see family members still complying with the only 10 people there now, stopping those plans. I have been on the phone with the Department of Health officials looking for assistance, guidance, and support for our town. And I want to say right now that I am thankful for their help and their support, and I look forward to their phone calls this evening and tomorrow to try and come up with a plan in a way in order to keep the students, staff, and our community at the end of the day safe. I know many people are going to argue and say there's no spread in the schools. The spread is in the community. The school is part of our community. So whether the kids are contracting it in the building or whether they're contracting it someplace else, that spread still exists. It's part of our community. And we know that as younger kids, and by the way, we just got our notice today, there are 12 new cases within Saraville. And just only minutes ago, while we were starting this meeting, I've now officially been told that we have 17 preschoolers that are currently in quarantine. And now we're up to 39 middle school students that are also in quarantine right now. We have only been open for business for some of these grades for a few days. It is time to do what is right. It is time to help stop the spread within our community now, because it is not going to slow. At this point, I am calling upon our Board of Education to join forces together and help stop the spread of COVID-19 in our town. I will once again reiterate that I believe that is in the best interest, although not the most ideal when it comes to learning, but is in the best interest of our community in order to weather this storm and keep people safe, to go to the full remote learning that we had before. But then to, of course, look at that. I'm not asking that we stay in that mode forever, but right now, when we know that the community spread and the behaviors of individuals at home during the holidays is going to increase this exponential spread, we need to do what's right now. And that's what so many schools are doing. They're closing even before or after a holiday. Majority of them are coming back after the winter breaks because they understand this. It's very difficult to feel like your hands are tied, but I can't listen to one more. The last phone call I made before getting on this Zoom call was to a 76-year-old employee of the Board of Education who cannot even get a COVID test appointment for several days, possibly next week, who is fearful for the fact that she has been exposed to somebody with COVID and now and does not know what she's going to do. This is not right. We have to look at each other as humans, and we have to sit there and ask ourselves, how much are we going to continue to take? I fear every single time my phone goes off and I see the message from Chief Zabrowski. And I worry about the number that's going to be on there. I worry about the ages, because we have as young as 5 months old. And I worry about getting the phone call from more family and friends who have now been forced to face COVID. Some have made it through, and others right now I am praying for, because they are sitting in an ICU bed, praying to God that they don't come in with a ventilator. That concludes my statements. I will go back to our meeting and ask if there's anybody else from the public that wishes to speak. Seeing no hands raised at this point, I'll entertain a
Make a
motion.
motion to close public portion.
There a second?
Second.
All in favor? That sounds
Aye.
almost like a drum roll, Donna, when it comes on, the static. Anyone opposed? All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'll entertain a motion to
Motion to adjourn.
adjourn. Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. If nobody opposes, we're going to move right into our agenda session. So we will stand one more time for a salute to our flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Jessica, statement of publication, please.
Take notice that this agenda session meeting of the mayor and council being held on this 23rd day of November 2020 has been advertised and posted in accordance with Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, Public Law 1975.
Roll call, please.
Councilpersons Conti,
Here.
Delina,
Present.
Enriquez,
Present.
Mar,
Here.
Novak, Roberts,
Here.
and our professionals, the mayor,
Here.
business administrator,
Present.
CFO,
Here.
engineer, attorney.
Here.
And that takes care of everybody then. Let's move on through old business. Does anybody have any questions in reference to the ordinances at introduction? Okay, we'll move on then to new business and communication and committee reports, administration and finance, please. Councilwoman Roberts.
Thank you, Mayor. Move the following minutes and reports be received and filed. The municipal clerk's monthly report, October 2020. CFO's investment activity report, October 2020.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you very much. Continue on, Councilwoman Roberts.
Okay, approve applications received for bingo raffle licenses from the Animal Rescue Force.
Any objection? Okay, thank you.
Clerk to prepare a resolution for the license renewal applications for 2021 covering barber and beauty shops, motels, temporary trailers, and junkyards.
Okay, Jess, you'll have that for next meeting?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. And anything under committee reports, Councilwoman Roberts?
No, not this meeting, but I do want to say happy Thanksgiving to everyone with everything we're going through. Please enjoy what you can. And I also wanted to congratulate our attorney, Mr. Dupont, on his new furry addition to his family.
Oh!
I hope it went well.
Mike, you're a proud papa again?
I know. No. Only not serious. No, my daughter came home from school with an abandoned dog.
Oh,
So she found it abandoned, mistreated, and cleaned it up. And so now we have a new addition. And so Callie is in our house. So that's the new addition. But I want to thank it was a long night last night.
I'm sure. Well, congratulations, Mike and Councilwoman Roberts. Thank you for mentioning.
And whether you are a furry parent or a foster parent, you're doing a great job.
Thank you.
That's going to be a fun Thanksgiving, Mike, I can see. We're going to move on then, and thank you very much, Councilwoman Roberts. We'll move to planning and zoning next with Councilman Delina.
Thank you, Mayor. I move that the following minutes and departmental reports numbers 1 through 3 be received and filed.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank
I also move that the notice of adjacent community property owners numbers 1 through 3 be received and filed as well.
Is there a second?
And
Thank you,
as Councilwoman Novak is not here today, I'll cover. Is it okay if I cover public works right now as well?
You took the words right out of my mouth, so thank you.
Perfect.
Just going to jump right over to Public Works, please.
Sure. I move the following minutes and departmental reports be received and filed numbers 1 through 3.
Is there a second? Thanks.
There is a notice of retirement received from Bernard Bailey for his position at Public Works Director effective January 1st, 2021. Receive and file.
Second.
Is there a second?
With that said, I would like to wish Bernie a happy retirement. He's been probably one of the best Public Works Director the state has seen for his years of service that he's been here. He's done a terrific job. I know he's had a relationship, friendship with my father for many years. So I've known Bernie for my years prior to moving to Sayreville, and he's always been a great guy, always willing to help out and always willing to help out the people of Sayreville. I know I'll miss him, and I'm sure everyone on this council will miss him as well. So Bernie, I just want to say congratulations and Godspeed.
Thank you.
Also want to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving. I hope everyone stays safe and healthy, during this upcoming holiday. And I would also like to say congratulations to Councilman Conti and Councilwoman Novak on their election to the council. I look forward to working with you, next year and for years to come. Other than that, progress.
Thank you very much, Councilman Delina. And we're going to jump back into public safety now. We'll go back to Councilman Conti, please.
Thanks, Mayor. Hey, and thanks, Kevin. I appreciate the well wishes. All right, I move the following minutes and reports be received and filed, items 1 through 3.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, and there was an application accepted by Morgan at their October 1st meeting for Basim Taufik, firefighter.
Is there any objection? No, you can continue.
All right. So just a couple of things. I too want to wish Bernie good luck in the future, and thank him for his 25 years of service. I don't know Bernie too long, but he's been very impactful on me for the short amount of time that I do know him. And he's a serious guy. He's serious about his work, and he's done a great job for Sayreville, and will definitely be missed. And I just appreciate all his efforts throughout those many years. So, good luck, Bernie, and thank you. I know, I'm sure Damon will also talk about this, but I'm going before him, so I want to mention it. Unfortunately, I couldn't be there on Saturday at the Mayor's Trophy game and the ceremony they had for Jerry Ust at the soccer complex. I heard it was really thoughtfully done and just went over very well. The tribute, I'm sorry that I missed it. Just want to say thank you for those that put that together and honoring his memory. And also, same as everybody, I wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving. Stay safe and diligent about beating this virus, and we'll beat it. And thank you.
Thanks, Councilman Conti. We're going to move to recreation now. Councilman Enriquez.
Thank you, Mayor. I move the following minutes reports be received and filed. Recreation Department report for the month of October 2020.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. And committee reports.
Okay. First, Bernie, best of luck going forward. Well-deserved retirement coming up for you. You worked hard for this town, and we appreciate everything you did. Secondly, want everybody to stay diligent and have a happy and safe Thanksgiving. Enjoy all your food. Not as much friends and family as normal, but like the mayor said, a lot of virtual stuff can happen, so stay safe. I would like to, as Vinny, Councilman Conti spoke about the ceremony we had, we did rename the recreational complex after Gerald Dust recreational complex down at what we called soccer fields. It was a beautiful ceremony. Yeah, 2 proclamations. It was a touching event, and Jerry will sorely be missed. And I'm glad that we were able to do something for him. We are going forward as safely as we possibly can with the Toys for Tots drive. We are taking donations. We're planning on doing a drive-through, so Santa and Mrs. Claus will be far away waving as we drop off gifts. It will be a no contact type of deal. So we are moving forward with that. Also, the Rec Department and Rec Advisory Board started something that we're looking to carry on this year and further years down of a Christmas light contest, decorating your house. I know Jeff in the Rec Department put out something on Facebook. We will be setting up a borough blast, hopefully a bomber blast, to let everybody know the requirements, how to submit your house, and that's just about it, Mayor. Progress.
Thank you, Councilman Enriquez, and thank you for your efforts with helping to put everything together in the Recreation Department. I'll talk a little bit later, but you guys have really, under your Recreation Board, you've done a great job at trying to make sure that we bring that happiness, that light, and we give some things in this weird kind of COVID crazy time. The Toys for Tots, I'm so glad you guys were able to keep that going. And I did see the light celebration with decorations. I think that was an excellent idea. So very, very well thought of. And please thank the Recreation Department and the employees there for me. Good work.
Will do, Mayor. Thank you.
We're going to move on to Water and Sewer and Environmental. Councilwoman Marr.
Good evening, Mayor. I move the following minutes, reports be received and filed. The Water and Sewers Direct Reports for the month of October 2020.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Committee reports.
And no committee reports, but my comments for tonight. One, I'd like to thank our veterans for another beautiful Veterans Day ceremony. I brought my own class on Zoom since I'm a teacher that was in class that day. Our elementary schools do such a nice job every year bringing the veterans in and doing things with our students, and hopefully when things get back to normal, we can expand that in the higher grades as well. I know that the veterans would truly appreciate the older kids as well. Speaking of education, I wanted to thank our teachers. I don't think they're hearing that enough lately. My children personally, and I cannot speak for all, are learning and thriving virtually. Report cards just came out and I couldn't be happier. So I want to thank them for their Herculean efforts. Speaking of Herculean efforts, I also want to acknowledge, as an educator, our Board of Education. I know the situation that they're in and how tough of a decision it is for them. And I know why they feel the need for kids to be in school to address socio-emotional health. I know that they want to address the IEP needs of our students. I know that younger kids cannot learn virtually. And I appreciate the months it took for them to concoct the conservative plan that they did. But I also know, as I told you reading the reports, the influx of death certificates that we had this year. And I also know, speaking with Speezy's Funeral Home, the influx of cases they've had this year. So hopefully a compromise can be reached to acknowledge the second wave between both. And that is all. Progress.
Thank you very much for those comments, Councilwoman Marr. I'm certain that many teachers out there within Saraville are very grateful for that sentiment and that statement. It's hard. We're all hurting. We miss our students terribly. I miss my students. I miss the way that things were, but I believe we're going to get back there when it's safe. Thank you for that.
And Bernie, I wish Bernie a wonderful retirement, and I want to thank him for accommodating my very many park requests.
Oh, Councilwoman Marr, that's, I know that is a passion of yours. My remarks will be very brief, and I'm going to focus on Bernie Bailey because in the short amount of time that I've been involved in this political world, when I first came on as a councilwoman, Public Works was my domain for 4 years. And we're not, for the record, Bernie's not going out the door anytime soon. We've got till January 1 and it's still November. So I don't want to officially say goodbye, but I want to say thank you because in 4 years, I received the learning of a lifetime. What Bernie was able to share, what he was able to impart upon me, the knowledge that he has for all things public work is truly remarkable. I do not think that there is another human being on the planet that knows what he knows in reference to all things from parks to roads to, oh my gosh, you name it. So Bernie, like I said, I'll hold the rest of my remarks until January 1 because as of right now, we're going to continue to rely on you to do what an amazing job you have always done. So thank you for that. We're going to move to the business administrator's report. Mr. Frankel, admin and finance to begin.
Thank you, Mayor. And before I start with that, I think we all owe Bernie a debt of gratitude. And it's always important when an employee who worked this long, who put in this much effort, can also leave when they want to leave and they're able to leave and hopefully can have a very happy retirement. So good luck, Bernie.
I'm sorry, Mr. Frankel. I am so sorry. because I actually wrote this on the other page of my agenda. And I have to ask everybody right now to please just entertain me for one moment, as I realize that we have lost a very important community member just very, very suddenly and tragically. And that is Miss Laura Alfrey. And she was a committee woman for us, for our Democratic organization. But more importantly, she was a paraprofessional in our schools, in the elementary schools. She has a tremendous family. She has the most unbelievable children. And she was just, sometimes I believe that there are truly some individuals in the world that whose light and whose generosity and whose care and love is actually too much to really even be contained here on earth. I think in some ways we maybe weren't even ready for all of the good that she brought. And we lost her just a few days ago. And I'll just ask for a moment of silence in her honor, as I know that her services were today. So if you would please just entertain for me a moment of silence for Laura and for her family. Thank you all very much. I apologize, Mr. Frankel. You can continue with your report.
Thank you. And also, I guess, Mike, and for all of us, our condolences to Mary Novak, who I believe Laura was her niece, and to the Novak family for their loss.
Thank you.
When we just talked about, before I go into our administrative and finance, I just wanted all of the residents to know, and I believe it is on our page, but Middlesex County does provide free testing for COVID-19. It is on Middlesex County's website. There are 2 locations. It's done twice a week, one in Piscataway and one in New Brunswick. You have to make an appointment. They are on time. They're usually, the results are pretty quick, within a couple of days. So if anybody wants to be tested, please go on their website. It's not that far from Sayreville. And we know there's a lot of lines out there today to get tested, but this is a machine that goes out there, and everybody has a time, at a designated time. It's very little wait, and I would implore any of the residents who want to get tested, go on the website, because it's a very easy process. Under Administration and Finance, Mayor, we have a little change for everyone to hopefully they will approve. Traditionally, and this is not a traditional year, when we have a reorganization of newly elected officials, we have a January 1st swearing in. We do not want to do that this year because of the COVID. So we are changing that date under your schedule to Monday, January 4th, if that's okay with everybody, as an agenda session at 6 p.m., which will also be virtual, and to follow that up with a reorganization meeting at 7 p.m. It's in your packet. I would like everyone to have the approval, if you could, of this new schedule.
Do you need that approval now? Because I have no issue with that. I think that's a smart decision to do.
Neither do I, Dan. I'm good with it.
So
okay.
If anybody, if you look at your calendars really quickly, it'd be a little bit, Dan, I think it's probably easier for you and Jess if you get consensus today, unless somebody really needs to look into their
It is easier.
So we'll just go through really quick. So
Okay.
Damon, you're okay. Kevin?
All good.
All good. Councilwoman Roberts, does that work?
That works.
Very good. Councilman Conti?
Sure, sounds fine.
Okay, wonderful. Councilwoman Marr?
Yes.
Excellent. Did I miss anybody? We'll double check with Councilwoman Novak just to make sure. But it looks like it's a go, Mr. Frankel.
Okay, very good. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks.
Authorization to execute a discharge of mortgage for property located at 108 Stanford Avenue in the amount of $9,905.
Again, if anyone has an objection, you can state that. If not, I'm just going to have you keep going through, Mr. Frankel.
Thank you. Authorization confirming payment of affordable housing trusts for the development of a 100% municipal sponsored affordable housing project in furtherance of the borough's approved affordable housing settlement agreement. I also have a report received from Police Chief John Zabrowski covering the following applications for massage, body works, and somatic therapy licenses. Report recommending license covering Ocean Spa Massage for all 521 Raritan Street be revoked. And is it okay with everybody to schedule a hearing date and time? Yes.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. Just let us know what you come up with. I don't think we can eliminate that.
Jess, can we do this in the next year? Or we have to do it before the meeting in December, or?
We were looking to do it in the meeting before, on the 14th.
On the 14th. So I guess the question would be for everyone is that do we have availability around 6 p.m. on December 14th?
Let me look at my calendar. I believe I'm fine.
Fine with me.
Yeah.
I'm good, Dan.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm good. Did everybody, Councilwoman Moore, Councilwoman Roberts, does that work for you?
Works for me.
Okay, thank you, everybody. We'll try to reschedule it at that meeting. We'll send emails to that effect. Authorization to donate vehicles no longer needed for public use to the Sayreville Fire Department for training purposes, a 2001 Chevrolet Express and a 2008 Crown Victoria. Authorization to issue an emergency contract for automated refuse containers to Schaefer Systems, Inc., to the NJPA Sourcewell Cooperative Contract 041217 in the amount of $28,381.68. Authorization to issue an emergency contract for the purchase and installation of touchless faucets at various borough facilities to Magic Touch Construction through ESCN contract 20/21-18 in the amount not to exceed $50,000. I just want all the residents to understand this is something that we applied for COVID, for COVID cares. This money would be totally 100% reimbursable. We will have touchless faucets in many of our buildings because of this and because of the COVID. So this will not come out of any of our budget or any money coming from our budget. Authorization to appoint Daniel Garbowski, David Morales, and Alfred Gavin III as truck driver heavy in the Department of Public Works as per civil service classification appeal, effective September 16th, 2020.
Okay.
And just one more thing, we had a contest for our employees to name our Employee of the Year. Some of you may know who that is, but I will announce it to everybody now that it is Tom Bracken, and we'd like to congratulate Tom. This was a contest for all of the employees voted. Tom was the highest vote getter, and Tom will receive a small gift from the borough, and we're going to treat Tom to lunch, I believe, tomorrow. So thank you very much for everybody. Thank you for the report, and thank you, and have everybody a very happy and safe Thanksgiving.
Thank you for that, Mr. Frankel. And for those that don't know what Tom Bracken does for the borough, this is such a much deserved award. He is our one-man show, technology, everything. If it's a computer, if it's a phone, if it's anything to do with technology, he is our guy. And especially this year more than ever, I could not, well, even this past year as we moved in to this year, you couldn't ask for a more dedicated, helpful, and just 100% always professional employee. So Tom, congratulations to you, much and well deserved. All right, we will move to our CFO's report. Ms. Bianco, please.
Just two things, Madam Mayor. I have a budget transfer resolution, and I'd like authorization to cancel old outstanding capital ordinances. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Any objection? I see none. Let's move on to our borough engineer's report. Mr. Cornell.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Two items this evening: the Public Safety Complex parking lot and the 2018 roads Phase 2. Both projects have been completed. We're recommending resolutions closing out the contracts. And also we have change orders on both contracts, which are net reductions. We'd like resolutions at the next meeting.
Oh, I'm
Thank you.
always so thankful when you give reports, Mr. Cornell, especially, especially this Thanksgiving when you tell us it's a reduction again. Very, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank
Borough
you.
Attorney's report, please.
Yeah, only, Mayor, I want to commend the mayor and council for a great ceremony honoring Jerry Ust. I made a specific effort to make that ceremony. He was truly a kind gentleman, but more importantly, well-respected. So having lost someone close to me, it was important to me to meet Mrs. Ust and also say, hey, listen, Jerry touched my life, and he made a great effort in Sayreville, and I saw it day in and day out. So that was a great job. Damon did a great job. I love the sign, just a great sign. But above all, I just want to wish you all a very happy Thanksgiving. I know it's been difficult for all of us, but we do have an opportunity to be thankful. And I urge everyone to just sit at the table with very few people. I'm going to have a total of 3, and just make sure you all be safe and count the blessings.
Thank you for that, Mike. And it was so nice to see you there at Jerry's celebration, I'm calling it, because it really was a celebration of just a great man. It was weird calling him Gerald because all those proclamations said Gerald. I said, who is this Gerald we speak of? Because he's always been Jerry to us. Just an amazing man, amazing family. I think when your proclamations are size 6 font and they go on, that would almost equal 3 or 4 pages. You really know you've done an outstanding job in your time in your life. So he really was something extraordinary. And I know, having read that one proclamation from us, then I know Councilman Enriquez, he probably feels the same way because he had to read some too, right?
Oh, wow, that was a long one.
Yes, but it really just shows really how tremendous Jerry was. We're so lucky to have had him for the time we did. Executive session, nothing to go into exec under, so we'll open up to the public at this point. Anyone from the public wish to speak, please press *9. And seeing none, I will ask.
Make a motion to close public portion.
Second.
Oh, I'm sorry. I did just see one hand go up very, very quickly. Does anyone have an objection if we allow that resident to speak?
Not at all.
No.
Thank you. We resident 0 calling in from 0832. You're in the public portion. I just need you to state your name and address for the record.
Hi, my name is Jean Marie Jaccarone, and I'm actually a teacher at one of the elementary schools in town. I don't actually live in town, so I'm not even sure if I'm allowed to speak then.
You're definitely allowed to speak. Just
Okay.
Thank you for asking, but yes, you can.
Okay, so I just wanted to bring up a few things. Being an elementary school teacher in today's time, it's extraordinarily unsafe for us to be in our buildings. Our buildings are not as clean as they are projected to be. Our students are not coming in a healthy manner. Parents are filling out forms saying they're well, and we're sending them home daily ill. Today alone in my school, we had several teachers quarantined. Several teachers are now being tested for COVID, and we had administrators covering classes. I didn't get a prep period today because I had to cover my own class. So I just wanted to kind of put that out there to the public that it's not as peachy keen as it's being presented by the board. And it really is extraordinarily scary for us as teachers because we're bringing it home to our own families and we're putting our lives at risk for other people's families. So I just wanted to kind of put it out there and see what you all thought about it.
Thank you so much for those comments. We did have a couple of callers from our first session, really kind of expressing that exact same sentiment. I did read I know my council, they get used to me when I write things down, it can get a little bit long. But for me as a mayor here, I have publicly just about 15-20 minutes ago read into the record exactly some of the things that staff members, parents have written to me about exactly the things that you're talking about. I know that specifically in Arlith today, it was a very difficult day for our staff members who are were fearful. I had a phone call, conversation with one staff member who is actually afraid to physically go into her home right now. And is actually looking to try and find a hotel or someplace to stay because she lives with I guess her parents who are older. She's deathly afraid right now because she knows that she's been exposed. These are not.
Yeah, that's what we're dealing with.
Yeah, this is not the kind of conversations that any of us want to have, especially around the holidays. Arlet School today was extremely, I can't imagine what it was like in that building because I did receive those calls and it was painful to listen to. And I appreciate you putting on the record really what's happening that we don't always get to see, because teachers, like Councilwoman Marr had said before, we work through all of those things and our hearts are with our students, and we want to continue to be there and do everything we can to the point where we're putting our families and our lives to the side. But at a certain point, you have to ask yourself, how far can you go and how far are you willing to go when you know that this is such a dangerous virus. It's heartbreaking. I have never in the 20 years that I've been an educator had to fight so hard for people. Never ever thought that we would ever be put in this position. We have to beg, plead, cry in order to keep ourselves, our family, and our students safe. Thank you for putting that on the record again. And I 100% will once again reiterate, I beg, I plead, and I am calling upon the Board of Education to please listen to the pleas of these people. Do what's right. Move to that remote environment that we have been in and that almost the majority of Middlesex County school districts have already done. So thank you for your statement.
Thank you.
So with that, I know we already had made our motion to close. Do we have to, I don't think we have to reiterate that. I think I'll just at this point then.
I didn't get that motion, Vicky, so I need it again.
I make a motion to close the public portion.
And I second it.
Okay, can we have
Motion to adjourn.
Oh, hold on, I need an all in favor.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. And now you can move on with adjournment.
Sorry, motion to adjourn.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Wonderful. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Please stay safe and be well. We will reconvene in a few weeks.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving all.
Happy
Stay well,
Thanksgiving.
everyone.
Happy Thanksgiving.